Welcome to another vintage fishing reel service video. In this episode, we have a Zebco Shooter 99 Triggerspin. These, from what I can gather by a quick perusal, were cataloged between 1992 and 1995. And so I picked this one up at a flea market today for $5, and it looks to be in pretty good shape, just a little dirty and in need of service. It's pretty tight, probably just grease bound, probably just needs good service. So let's go ahead and get started. On this one, this cap unscrews, and you can pull the whole thing out just like a Zebco 202 or something like that. Just pops out. In fact, you don't even have to worry about winkling the or sliding that drag dial up underneath. It just pops it. You don't have to put it in diagonally or anything. Not much going on here. No real need to, you take that off, you can. There's a screw there, but no real need to take that off. You can clean around that, lubricate that. And after that, it's pretty much just like any other Zebco 202 or 404 or 101. So we'll get this, well, we guess we can start by taking off the spinner head. And the E-clip. And the spool. And we'll get that old line off of there. And so that's ready for the parts tray. Pull out the pinion gear and shaft. Put that in the parts tray. Remove the handle. And the main gear. Just really sticky. This reel is going to be just fine with the service. It's just mainly sticky grease. There's your little anti-reverse pawl. It just fits in a little hole there. Put that in the parts tray. Let's see here. Yeah, make sure that I always try to make sure that that's on the lowest setting. Yeah. All right, and so that's ready for the parts tray, and the parts tray is ready to be taken over to the sink, where these can be thoroughly scrubbed, get all that old grease off. Get some WD-40 and some cotton swabs down into the journals where the various shafts go, and we'll be back just like that. Well, that took a little bit longer than I expected, despite it not being a terribly old reel. That grease was really dry, and so it took a lot of picking out of the gears and so on. All right, one thing I'm going to do is just run a little bit of steel wool around the main gear shaft and around the pinion gear or axillary shaft, just to make sure all the grease residue is off of there and that they smooth or spin as smoothly as possible. We can put our anti-reverse pawl back in, and this, let's see here, Still a little grease in here. Let's just double check this, but I'm pretty sure I know how this, which side this goes in on here. I'm just gonna make sure I know which. So the reel is like this. So yeah, so it's actually, that's the way it would have been if it was not an underspin, but in this case, you're gonna have it situated like this, and the claw that has the sharpest angle here will face towards what will be the top of the reel when it's sitting underneath the rod. So we can go ahead and oil our main gear shaft and run that through. And we can grease the back side of those cogs there. That'll quiet down the anti-reverse a little bit. And of course, grease the teeth on the main gear. And then we can grease the teeth on the pinion gear. And up around this thing. And then I probably should have done this before I greased it, but I like to pull that pinion gear out, get a little oil underneath there, work that in, and grease the shaft, stick that in there, work that in, and now we can go ahead and put our handle on. What do I do with my handle nut here? Oh, there it is. And now we can put, well, we're gonna have to grease around this shaft around which the spool rides. And then put our spool on, and of course the tooth side goes down, and I oftentimes will just pull that drag lever up a little bit until it gets situated over those teeth on that. Then we're ready for our E-clip. And then put a little oil on the pivot point and around the bottom where that trip mechanism is, work that in. Line up the flat side of the spinner head with the flat side on the shaft. Get that on there. Put our retainer nut on there. Tighten that down. I hate how those things wobble like that. I guess it's not as bad now. All right, now we're ready to put the guts back in the rear housing and screw on the cover. wipe some of my oily fingers on it. And get it nice and shiny. And that cleaned up real nice. Oh, something I forgot. We got to get, that didn't get cleaned very well. Got to get an oil drop or two down in there and work that in. Lubricate, clean out that crank knob. But there you have it. Circa 1991 to, or 1992 to 1995. Zebco Shooter 99 Triggerspin. And all ready to go fishing again. Just needs some new line. And that thing working just fine now. Ready to go fish. Much better than it was. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.